Your book goes into sorcery and, as you just mentioned, the cultural uses of these ceremonies and rituals. And there is a distinction, though, between a sorcerer and, did you call it a curandera?
A curandero or a curandera, yes.
Okay, because women can do this too.
Women can.
There are a few.
There are a few.
As long as they're not menstruating.
Yes, we can talk about that.
That's almost worldwide. That phenomenon.
Think there are taboos all over the place about menstruation.
Yes.
Except, well, among the Shuar, for example, there are a lot more women shamans than in other indigenous cultures in the Upper Amazon. But as a general rule, menstruation creates problems for women healers in the Upper Amazon.
But if they're not doing that, some of them become curanderas.
Yes.
But there's a distinction between the curanderos who do the healing, their medicine. We'll say in the Western shorthand, medicine doctors, which I'm being ironic, but they're into healing. Mm-hmm. Whereas the sorcerers are, what are they called?
Brujos.
Brujos. Could a brujos heal someone if he wanted to? Do they have the same powers? Do they come from the same places?
Exactly right. I think there are 2 points to make here. Okay. One is that there is no bright line between a healer and a sorcerer in the Upper Amazon. The same plants that are used for healing are the plants that are used for harming. The same shamanic power that is used to harm is used to heal. The darts that a shaman projects into the bodies of the people that he's harming are also part of the protective armamentarium of the healing shaman who sucks those darts out of the body of the patient. But at the same time, there is a distinction between a healer and a harmer in Upper Amazonian culture in terms of self-control. It is the sorcerer who lacks self-control, whereas it's the healer who has managed to conquer the innate human impulse to destruction that allows the shaman healer to heal and not give in to the impulses to destroy.
This is actually a very complex topic, and I think you did an admirable job in your book. You reference anthropologists, ethnographers, as you mentioned earlier. There has been a lot of work, it sounds like, needs to be done, understanding the social aspects and the healing aspects of this, and why it works when it works. Because you are obviously managing to juggle here two things. Like, on the one hand, you think this is a valid, meaningful, spiritual and social experience, the drinking of the ayahuasca and the rituals to heal. On the other hand, your book exposes, or I shouldn't say exposes, it explores and investigates the performative aspects, which we would call fraud, but which you don't.
I don't see a contradiction there.
See, that's why people should read the book.
When you go to the doctor, okay, you go to the doctor, and what do? You go to a desk and you give your name, and then you wait in the waiting room, and then somebody comes to the door, and your name is called, and in front of everybody you rise up and you go in the back. And in the back, you take off all your clothes.
Maybe.
And you dress in special paper garments. And then you sit there naked except for the paper garment, and there's a knock on the door, and this person
officious person enters
in healing clothes, a white healing garment with a stethoscope around his or her neck, and a
symbol of power,
absolutely,
and knowledge,
and the whole encounter with the healer is a performance. And I don't see any difference between the shaman in the Upper Amazon shaking his leaf bundle rattle over your body and the doctor in white healing clothes knocking on the door of the special healing room and asking you questions about things you would never talk to a stranger about.
Okay, well, I would like to go on at length on that, because there is a difference, but maybe not in the performance aspect, but in the actual healing aspect, perhaps there's some differences. But I'm really curious about is something that you discuss in your book. And once again, we are talking to Steve Beyer, who has written a book called Singing to the Plants about his experience with mestizo shamans and ayahuasca. And what I'm really interested in is the ayahuasca tourism that has evolved around this what we would call psychedelic, or we'll just call it psychoactive substance, the ayahuasca plant. And you say there are other plants that are used, but this is the main one that you focused on with your teachers. Tell me about the tourism. I mean, you were mentioning earlier that the ayahuasca is in the popular consciousness now. Where can we see this, references to this?
If you watch the program Weeds, there was an episode of Weeds where she drank ayahuasca. If you watch the program Nip Tuck, if you will confess to watching the program Nip Tuck.
I would never confess to watching Nip Tuck. Never.
There was an episode where two of the characters drank ayahuasca together. Ayahuasca is slowly penetrating into North American popular culture. It's a fascinating thing to watch.
But now we have to go there. It's not coming here, right?
Well, it is here, but I should make it clear it's illegal.
Okay, but
because
there it is not.
It contains dimethyltryptamine. It contains DMT.
What is that?
It's a very potent hallucinogen.
Okay.
And it's also a Schedule I controlled substance, possession of which is a felony in the United States.
But in the Amazon, I take it it's a bona fide, culturally significant legal...
Yes.
Just like peyote would be for certain North American
yes.
cultures.